All right, here we go with our second, third exam. And let me give you a little review here, describe what's going on. The first question here, it asks, what are the four parts of Darwin's theory of natural selection? I go through that very clearly in one of the videos. I believe it's one with the PowerPoints. So you should be able to just find where I talk about that, and there are four things. That's what I'm looking for, and I think there are like four little something like boxes or something on the screen, and I talk about each of those. That's what I'm looking for. List and describe them. How do they come together? Think of it this way: how do those four things come together to create Darwin's theory of natural selection? Notice it's called natural selection, not evolution. Evolution isn't mentioned in his book very often. I think maybe three times. Natural selection is what his book is really about. So go through and tell me about natural selection. Prove to me that you understand how it works using those four concepts that you can find. And there is a video where I talk specifically about it, and pretty sure it's a PowerPoint video. Then go and tell me who Lamarck was. There are quite a few videos on epigenetics, and that is related to Lamarck. So go and find Lamarck, and tell me what his theory about how organisms change were. I talked quite a bit about it in one of the videos about what it was that Lamarck thought, and how his system would have worked. And of course, that's not the way it really works. At least we didn't think so. But now we're beginning to think that, at least in some small ways, it does. So I want you on number 3 to explain what epigenetics are and how they are related to Lamarck's theory. In other words, these two are related. Here it's just Lamarck and what he thought. And then we talk about epigenetics and then how they might show that maybe Lamarck was correct in some small way. Actually, more than a small way, a very large way. Examples might be a good idea. If you can go through and find an example of one of these epigenetic changes, maybe you can talk about that. That's one way to answer this question. All right. What is the difference between natural selection and, oops, I made a misspelling. That should be artificial selection. So natural selection is what Darwin talks about in his book. Artificial selection are things like dog breeding. So what's the difference between them? Pretty straightforward question and answer. One of them is controlled by one thing, and one of them is controlled by something else. It's pretty much all you need to say. One paragraph, 3 sentences, probably easily could get that one and get full credit. All right, number 5, list and describe the 4 things the scientists in the movie discovered that make us human. Now, this one will be double credit. I don't have it listed here as double credit, but this is the big one. This is the one you had to watch the movie. You had to get to the 4 scientists in the back. So I want you don't have to get their names right. You can use those references. I think I called one the muscle guy and the computer lady and the whatever. You can use those names. That's fine. But for each one of them, I want you to describe what they did and what they discovered and how that relates to how we are human. What did they find that was different between humans and all other organisms? What are the things that make us human? I want to know the exact things they discovered. And so list those 4 people with those reference names I gave you, and just say, well, they discovered that this does this, and that only occurs in humans, or something along those lines. So now this one may take some words. I mean, this might take 4 or 5 paragraphs, maybe more. I don't know. This is a long one. So make for sure you take your time on number 5, because it's worth double credit, even though I didn't put it out here. Next one, we're going to relate the idea of punctuated equilibrium to genes that control other genes. In the movie, they call these boss genes. We call them transcription factors. And I talk quite a bit about this at one point when I do the video on punctuated equilibrium. You should be able to go to that video and pull out the answers from that one. Number 7, explain how embryo development supports the theory of evolution. The If you watch the movie in detail and pay close attention to some of the parts in the it's more towards the middle, I guess. They go through this. Do your best. I will give you a hint on this one that it is related to um, what do you CPG islands and development and things like that. Um, Number 8, what did the finches tell Darwin about evolution? There's a great deal of about finches in the movie, so go to the movie and watch the part on the finches. That's what I'm looking for. Talking about, why did they have the different beaks? That's essentially what we're asking. Um, what is the difference between gradualism and punctuated equilibrium? What regions in or around the genes lead to the changes responsible for punctuated equilibrium? So here I'm talking about why, how did hippos become whales? They lost something, mainly their legs. Well, how did they do that? And how does the explanation of how they did that, how is that related to punctuated equilibrium? So you're going to have to know what punctuated equilibrium and gradualism are to be able to answer this question. And once you know that, and then you kind of know why hippos maybe lost their legs to become whales, then you kind of will know why how this question is answered. You may already know those things, and so this will be an easy one. All right, then that should do it. I am grading just really, really slow. I sold my house, and then I didn't sell my house, and then I sold my house again, and didn't sell my house again, and finally I sold it for real, and someone paid me, and I moved, and so I'm finally kind of back to normal. But I apologize for being so late with everything. Your class and the other class I teach are both in about the same spot. I've done some grading, but it takes quite a while to read these essays and grade them. So I'm maybe halfway through exam one on them, and I'm probably I don't know how far on you guys, but it's taking a long time, but I'm catching up slowly. Hopefully, I'll be up by next time. Maybe not. I'm working as well as I can. Get this one in. I'm giving you a little extra time. So work on it. This is usually a pretty cool topic. Fits in with all the stuff we learned in bio in part one, and it even connects with in exam one, but it even connects with part of exam two, especially when you get to the things that make us human part of this one. So work hard. Grades so far have been fine in both classes. I'm pretty happy with what you're doing, and um, I guess that should be expected. I mean, it is kind of like take-home tests. As long as you watch the videos, you should be able to answer these questions. So I'm pretty happy with it. So I hope you guys are too, and I will get to working.